Hi, I'm David Shevers.
Hi, you're listening to Harry Sideropoulos.
I'm Malcolm Terry.
Hello from Michael Richard.
Hello from Fiona Ramsey.
And if you're listening to us,
then you're lucky enough to be listening to Radio Today.
Today, South Africans share their lives with you here on Radio Today.
And you are lucky enough to be listening to the Christmas edition of A Place Called Melville with Morale Emond and Alistair Graham. Now, in case you've tuned, we're listening to William Gall, our favourite historian of Melville, and he was talking about when he was a child in Melville, and he mentioned there's no Christmas lights. Well, one man decided to rectify this, and it's a really special story, and that man is
Harald Schulz. I love people like this. You absolutely make things happen.
And it's such a lovely story.
When people come to Melville at Christmas time, the 7th Street and part of 4th Avenue is full of these beautiful, what we call them as angel lights. They're stars, actually, with wings and stuff. And they were invented by a guy that we rather miss from Melville, Harald Schulz. So here we are chatting to him. Because he's the guy, he invents other things too, but these were his invention. How did it happen, Harold?
No, it wasn't really a great invention.
It's lasted a long time.
My daughter was born in February 2001.
Yeah.
And coming from Austria, where we used to have street lights all the time, and every Christmas, and in my youth we used to have Christmas lights. And I believe Johannesburg used to have them, but then they kind of disappeared.
Must have been a very long time ago, huh?
And we didn't really see them much anymore. So then I decided that my daughter will have Christmas lights on her first.
Such a wonderful idea.
On her first Christmas. So then we went and I contacted a German company that made Christmas lights.
Oh, that you knew from
that I knew from way back when.
Yeah.
And they kindly did us a mock-up of the street with the lights as we see them now, and they gave us a quotation. Of course, this quotation was way above anything that little Melville could afford. And
exactly.
And although I'm not the inventor you just mentioned, my dad very much was an inventor. So I went to my dad and I said, Dad, we've got this problem. There's a daughter.
Said, it's not a problem.
There's a daughter, and Christmas is coming, and we need to have lights. and here's some drawings which we modified slightly, and then my dad started getting on buying aluminium and lights and putting them together.
Wow. Oh, so that's why they're light, because they're aluminium.
Yes, they had to be. Yeah, they had to be in aluminium frames that are light, easy to hang up. And in the meantime, I went round. Because Camilla, of course, had Whiz-Bang at the time, the art studio.
Right, sure.
Yeah. So we sort of knew some of the people around, and the sort of immediate vicinity around Whiz-Bang wasn't really a problem because we all knew.
Exactly.
And I said, don't you have 500 Rand? Don't you have 500 Rand? And we had to raise, I think it was about 17,000 Rand in total. And we hadn't even thought about hanging them up, by the way, at that point. we had no clue. We had no clue how to get them up. We just knew we had to get some.
Let's get them made first.
Let's get them made first, exactly.
I can see you actually are an inventor, because that's usually the way it works.
And
you get the thing done and you work out what to do
yes,
with it later.
Exactly. Yeah, and then I went with a book in hand, and I started going up and down the street and round the corner up 4th Street as well. We went, because the lights went round 4th Street, and started explaining the story, and this what I thought could easily be done in a Saturday morning, I think ended up being about a 4 months fundraising, if you call it that, fundraising exercise. Well, we then made them. We did get enough money together, just.
Yeah.
And then came the day when we thought, okay, we have to actually hang these up somehow. And that's when we then contacted City Power.
Yeah.
I think it was City Power, and they had a cherry picker.
Oh, okay. And they were keen for you to have it.
And
that's very nice of them.
And then they said, all right, we'll hang them up for you.
Gosh.
Against a little bit of cash money.
Yeah.
Bit of a tip kind of thing for the guys that did it.
Gosh.
And City Power also then said they would sponsor the electricity for the lights.
Yes. Yeah.
And that was, I think it must have been beginning of December.
How many globes are there on those lights?
When we eventually put them up.
Thousands and thousands and thousands.
There's quite a number. I think there is about 150 to 200 per sign. And I think There must have been, I think we made 11, if I don't...
Oh, really?
I'm not sure.
Yeah, I think it is about that.
I think we did 11,
I
yeah.
also think so, yeah.
Yeah, and then we hung them up and they switched on, and I walked up and down, I think about 5 times 7th Street with a pram, pushing my daughter. And pointing and saying, look, these are yours. Those are the Christmas lights.
And then the next year, did you put her in a little pushchair?
Oh, and the next year, I think by then she was kind of toddling along, but it went on for a while. But the story doesn't really end there, because hanging up was one thing, but taking them down was completely and utterly another thing, and where to store them was another problem.
Yes, another thing for
and then
one thing at a time.
And then when the next year came, of course, now a lot of these light bulbs, they don't last forever.
No,
they sort of pop one after, especially after rains. The light bulbs are hot. Kind of pop and stop. But then the following year we had to first of all we had to take them down again, which meant some more pocket money for City Power to take them down. Then we had to find a place to store them, and I think Nuno was the first one.
I think so too.
Where we stored them at Nuno's. And then came the following year, which meant the entire exercise had to happen, and now you had to also refurbish them. So then again, I sat with Dad in tow, and also an electrician from town that works with Camilla. He helped out, and then we put new light bulbs on, and we had another fundraiser, because now people thought now that this was that's it. It would be like this forever, but there's a maintenance every year.
Yeah, that's right.
It costs a couple of $100. So I went to the sort of more lucrative restaurants and said, we needed a bit more money, and then it carried on.
Two of those poles don't belong to Melville, and it's not the one right at the top. You probably remember this. A bit further down, in fact, the ones opposite next to Wisbang, where Camilla was.
Yeah.
Those belong to Richmond. So it's a completely different municipality for some funny reason.
From the electricity side of things.
Yeah,
so Richmond's contributing.
And of course, our lights now are up every December. I think we had a bit of an hiatus for about 2 years after the long table, and now they're back up again. And every year we say thanks to Harold.
Yes, well, thank you very much. And I'm very glad to see them. And possibly there'll be another generation of Schulzes who's gonna have the honor of watching them.
I mean, I think that they're beautiful because they're simple. They're so pretty. When you see a whole street all lined up like that with those gorgeous stars and things, that are really lovely.
And they light up the street completely and utterly. I mean, it's just a complete different dimension looking up the street at night without them. When they're actually not on, then there's something missing in the street, isn't there?
I know, and at some stages we've had them up during the year because City Power haven't taken them down, and even then it's rather nice. And somebody put it on a wine label. They made a wine label for Melville, and I looked at the label, and there the lights are.
Oh, really? On a wine label? So we're famous now with the lights.
All thanks to you. And what's your daughter's name?
Nina. Yeah, my daughter's Nina.
Thanks to you and Nina. Gosh.
If it hadn't been for Nina, you might not have lights in Melville.
You probably would. It's quite possible unless somebody else would have gone. Yeah.
No,
but that was really the driving. That was really the driving factor. Yeah.
What a wonderful story.
And Harold is an inventor. I mean, even on his card, which is Suntoy, it says invent, design, deliver. So you see, you are an inventor.